ladle me. Yeah, so I'm trying StreamYard so that we can maybe have some people, pop on the show if they want to show us their sauna or chat about sauna. So tomorrow at noon, I think it's noon Central, we'll do a live stream.
This is a great platform.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on the guest side of it before, but I've never hosted, so.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth, really clear.
Yep.
Better than it's better than chatting via FaceTime.
Yeah. Yeah, so someone says, tell me the ladle story. The ladle story, this gigantic ladle here. We were in Michigan using a sauna, and they had one in the hot room, and we're like, what in the world? We asked the lady, we're like, where did you guys get that ladle? And it's like, I think theirs might have been like a table leg. And she's like, there's some old guy that my dad knows that makes them. Do you want one? And we're like, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we don't use it very often, but it's a cool design. Are you able to walk to your sauna?
Yeah.
All right. And while you're walking to your sauna, I should show everyone.
Oh, nice.
Tell us the story of this.
So, Christina Raku Fires, she's had. You're familiar with Raku, right? You put a piece into an oven until it reaches about 1850 degrees, just molten hot. And then you pull the piece out and put it in front of a fan, and you can hear the crackling. You see how there's crackling all over the piece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when it is exposed to the contrast after being so hot with like a colder wind, it creates those cracks. And then you put the piece into a steel bucket of oats, and then it smolders, and then it fills in all of those cracks with that sort of discoloration. So it kind of creates this really neat look. And then you dump it into a cold bucket and wait for that to cool off, and then you pull the piece out and clean it. And that style of firing ceramics, it's an ancient Japanese style, and sadly you can't use it. It's not food safe, but it's really pretty stuff.
Yeah, it is. So it's one of my treasured sauna items. We don't have tons, just a few things, but yeah. So we're hoping to use this platform to connect with the community a little bit more, to hear from people that might listen to the show. Or so are you able to show us your sauna a little bit?
Oh yeah. I wonder if I can flip the camera on this. I don't think so. That's okay. So here we are. It's a 6 foot by 4 foot unit. It has some design flaws, as you can see.
All saunas.
Yeah, you can see the bench height there. The biggest complaint is that the lower bench is so much lower than the top of the stove, so it's basically deemed worthless. I mean, it's a step to get to the upper bench.
Yep.
But it's my first very own sauna, and I would like to someday build something, a DIY thing. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, and we've been talking, you'd done some testing with yours with, was it like a fan blowing some air into a vent?
Yeah, so I situated a box fan right in front of the intake. I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
Blowing into the intake vent. And then I know that the ventilation is pretty good because I put a piece of paper up here when we're primed nice and hot. The tissue will just stick to the wall or stick to the vent.
Mm-hmm.
Air definitely circulates through here, but I think it might reduce the heat stratification a little bit, having more heat, more air being blown through, fresh air.
Yep.
So,
And I think I remember you saying something about like you notice like feeling a little less tired or foggy when you've got a little bit more air coming through.
yes, but something. So I don't. When did I picked up on a bit of information that I think might be false,
Okay.
and it's in a sauna book
Mm.
that might have been published in the 1990s.
Okay.
But it talks about history of sauna, talks about protocol, talks about details about when to eat, when to stop eating. And one of the things that it said was that you shouldn't drink water during a sauna session. And I think the idea was, remember when, and I think we're still on this like detox myth about sweating toxins.
Yep.
And I think that the theory is surrounded by, like, I don't know, kind of like it's around those lines of thinking. The idea that like if you drink water while you're in the sauna, then you're not going to detox as deeply or something.
Sure.
And so for the longest time, I was not drinking any water during a sauna session. I would have water leading up to it, but and also after. But ever since I think it was an interview between Glenn Auerbach and a man named Jarmo something in Finland. He was guiding him in Finland, and he talked about his water protocol. He was saying he drinks like at least 2 liters of water during a sauna session.
Mm.
And so that tipped me off the idea to try that out, and I feel night and day difference from that too. I don't feel groggy and tired after. I also don't get like I used to feel kind of dry and parched in my eyes.
Yep.
And that has been eliminated by adding water to the actual in real time while in the sauna.
That's interesting that you tied it to the detox, because I'd heard that don't drink water where you're sauning. I can't remember where I heard it. But it makes sense if it came from someone who is trying to do like some sort of detox protocol where they're maybe even taking niacin or something like that, and they don't want to water down the effect of whatever they've ingested. And they want to really kind of get their body to push out as much liquid as possible, I guess, or whatever
Like
the niacin
stripping.
is. But yeah, there's a lot of myths that get passed around the sauna world, and it's sometimes difficult to track down what's accurate or not. I know when I first got into it, I read in a book, maybe even in a couple books, not to throw steam the first round, really. And so, like, I did that for the longest time. I would, it was pretty dry the first round. Then I just over time started like throwing a little more steam and liking steam more. And then I would do it the first round, and I sounded with a Finnish American guy who's been doing it his whole life, and he just starts throwing steam right away. I was like, well, know, maybe someone liked it more dry the first round. They wrote it in a book, and then it becomes a rule for everybody.
Isn't that funny? I think it, I'm pulling the memory from far back, from back end of my brain. I remember now they were saying you won't detox with any kind of water in your system because then your body is spending its energy on processing whatever content you've put into your body, distracting it from its ability to detox. That sounds so.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That may be a dubious physiological guess right there.
That's good.
Well, thanks for popping on to test this. I hope we're able to do more of these, and Sam and Arrow will be a part of it. So
This is awesome. Yeah, I would love this, and spontaneity is good too. So if these conversations were being had and I didn't have anything going on, uh, things are pretty crazy right now in our lives. Like Christina just walked with her master's in teaching last week. Finally, we're done. And having the 2-year-old is a lot, but I think that it feels like we're coming to a point to where we can have some more time outside of just the hyper focus. So this will be a cool deal.
yeah,
And then we still need to have our FaceTime tea party.
yeah, definitely. I'm always open for that. So
Cool. Yeah, I just used that teapot that you recommended for the first time just the other day because I ran out of cheesecloth. And I have you heard of the herb episote?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's an herb. It's a weed. Be careful where you plant that.
Oh, really? It's
Oh yeah,
invasive.
very invasive.
Okay. Well, needed to steep some of that stuff.
Hmm.
And it worked out really well. But okay.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah. So I'll close down the stream. Everybody, you got the chance to meet my sauna friend Nathan, and hopefully we'll chat some more. And we'll be having a live stream tomorrow.
What time?
It should be noon central.
Cool.
Yeah.
I might pop on.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. See you then.
All right. Ciao.
Yep. Bye.